This is Art and Such with part 2 of my additional feature segment for Mr. Potato Head on the Rainbow Loom. In part 1 we made our tongue, our little shoes, and our glove. So check out part 1 if you haven't yet. Here I'll show you how to make the ears, the nose, the mustache, and I'll give you a couple of ways to do the eyes. For our ears, we're going to be using doubled over single pink bands. And we come up from our second left peg to our second center peg, and then up to the top peg on the right. We'll come down once on the right side, and then down to the center. So this is from the second right to the center third. We're going to come up again from the center third to the side, to the right side third. So it's going to be kind of like a blocky V when we're done. We go down once more on the right to the fourth peg, and then we're going to come back down from the fourth peg on the right to the fourth on the center, and finally to the third peg on the left side. For our cap band, we're going to take a doubled over band again, and we're going to create a triangle over from the third peg on the right to the third peg on the center and around the fourth peg on the center. And we'll do the same thing above on these three pegs, which are your second right to your second and third center. And we will cap off our very first band about 3 times. And this is by our first band. This should be the third peg down. And we are going to loop up this way and follow the bands back. We won't be looping the triangles anywhere. Those are just going to stay and hold things where they need to be. This is a little bit awkward, but you're going to take your first 2 bands out from that third peg left and carry them to the center. Go under your triangle cap and bring your next bands to the right fourth peg, and then we'll loop up to the third peg, take the next 2, bring them to the center third. So we're just following the trail back. The next 2 are coming from the center third up to the right second. They're a little bit loose here. Sorry, a little bit tight here. I'm going to have to wiggle mine a little to get them free. Let's pull that loose so we can see it better. Oh, isn't that strange? It doesn't want to come up here. I think I grabbed one of my triangle bands. Oh, there we go. We're good. Okay, keep going up. Second peg on the right to first peg on the right. You might want to turn your loom around, and we're going to go down diagonally from our top peg right to our second center, and then back down to that second one on the left. Whew. Okay, good. For our ears now, you can take a doubled over single or 2 singles. Very carefully remove the bands from your second and third pegs on the left. Carefully release this from the loom. You can give it a little tiger adjustment and bring it onto your 2 bands. So there's our ear. It looks a little bit like the tongue, but it's a little bit longer. And you can make a second one of those if you choose to. We're going to do our nose next. For the nose, I'm going to take 3 red bands. Oh, we'll take 2. You can do it 2 or 3, depending how thick you'd like it to be. Now, all right, here's 3. We're going to wrap it twice. We're going to take another 2 or 3 and wrap it twice. We'll try and get it a little bit on top of the other piece though, so it's really nice and thick. And our skin tone body color is brown, so you can carefully pull pull this all onto a brown single band. Now this piece you probably don't want on an S-clip unless you stick one on either side. You will most likely just want to either incorporate this when we are looping or attach it afterwards, but not have it as a removable piece, although you definitely can. Our mustache is very similar. We're going to do 3 bands and we'll wrap it twice and we'll repeat this twice. You can make it tighter if you want it to be, like wrap it more times if you want it to be tighter. And you can add more bands if you want it to be thicker. It's really up to you. Okay, 3rd set, twice. This keeps it really nice and loose. And just like with the nose, we're going to pull these all onto a brown. So keep some tension. And I would recommend that you slide this on section by section or even a couple of bands at a time so that it doesn't spring out on you because you have a lot there. Once more, you can attach S-clips to either side to hook on after, or we can incorporate it while looping, or I'll show you how to add it on when we're done. For our eyes, if you are using beads, I've got some really large round ones that I had fun with. If you are using beads, you can either stick them on your hook if the hole is large enough and thread it onto a brown band. If you have beads with a smaller hole, I'll show you again how to attach them to, how to get them on a band. You would put a dental floss or a thin wire through both of your beads, and we're using brown, so the next thing you would do is get a brown band and put it over the end. And then we can take the dental floss, pull it back over, and bring it back through those beads. And you might be using small beads, you might be using pony beads. If you have white pony beads, you can use those when we are making the face, or add them after, and then use a Sharpie, a black marker, to add the features. Whatever kind of eyes you do, you want the eyes to stay close together because he kind of has goggly eyes. So that will get small beads on. You can also put your beads on your hook again, and if you are using bands, and I think I'll use bands this time, you take a single black or color of your pupil, wrap it 3 times, a single white, wrap it once on one side, and then we're going to wrap it again on the other side, and we repeat this for our second eye. 1, 2, 3. And a white wrapped on the inside and on the outside. We want our eyes to stay really close together, remember. If you had beads, this part would be the same. You're just going to slide everything right on top. If your beads, again, are larger and fit on your hook, you would do this. I'm going to try really hard to keep these in order so we don't have to sort it out too much later. Okay, and this can stay on your hook. You can add your S-clips, same deal as the others. Now we have a couple of minutes left for this video, so I will show you how to make the extensions for the sides, and that is what's going to give it that added thickness all the way around. You will need 2 side extensions. I played around with the shape a lot. It took me about 4 or 5 tries, I'm afraid, but this is the best I came up with. So we're going to take a single, wrap it twice onto the hook, and pull it onto 9 sets of double bands. So onto 2 bands, onto another 2 bands, and we'll do this until we have 9 sets. This is going to go the whole length of the body. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Alright, so before you check out my main video, the main tutorial, what you'll want ready are 2 extensions, one for either side. You'll probably want your 2 arms. You have your shoes, your eyes you'll definitely want to have, and you can decide whether you want the ears, the nose, and the mustache, or the tongue is another feature which is totally optional. I hope everything here worked out for you, and I will see you back for part 1 of my Mr. Potato Head tutorial.